And good morning, welcome back to the engine shed. On the table today is where we left off last week. We was machining these big end bearings, these big bronze bearings for the Wallace & Stevens 8 nominal horsepower expansion engine that's behind me. So where did we leave off last week? We was just finished up these radiuses, we finished up the bores, and we've got it just a snug fit on the crank. So as you may have noticed, we've got some tools in front of me today. These are all scrapers, bearing scrapers, and basically the job for today is to run up and down that ladder 50 or 60 times. Now we want to hand scrape these in now. I got them to a nice fit on the crank. Now we just want to scrape a little bit of clearance into them. So we've got our machinist blue. We've got a bit of oil, and we've got a clamp to clamp them up round the crank, so that we can go about turning them on there and then scraping them so they're a nice fit. We need to get these a nice running fit on the crank. We don't want them going tight, and we also want them wound up real tight that way, but not binding. So we need the bearing shells solid, at the same time really nice, free to move. And the only real way to do that with a worn out journal is to basically scrape your clearances in. So with that all being said, I think I'm going to take this one up to the crank, eyeball it and see where we could start scraping before we need to even worry about putting a blue on. So let's get up and have a look. So we're up on the engine now. This is our crank. Should move. And this is the big end journal. So this is what we'll connect via the connecting rod to the piston, which is all the way over there somewhere. So you should be able to see, now that we've done our radiuses, we're pretty close to being on size. So all we want to do is find out where we're touching, scrape that down, and keep repeating until this bearing, because at the minute it's tight on that journal, and we keep scraping it until there's a nice bit of clearance for oil. So I think I'm going to start, and I've just eyeballed it. I think I'm just going to take a sweep out the radiuses. I'm going to try it again. Right, so that's the first pass. I'll show you how I do that in a minute. We just took a scraping out of the radius. And now, as you can see, that's already fitting better. I might put some blue on that now. So I've took the middle of the, scraped a bit in the middle. You may be asking why we're scraping this, but this journal is not perfectly ground and perfectly even all the way across. There's a slight hump in this journal. I tried to get the crank round, but I couldn't find anyone to do it, so it's just been polished. And what we're going to do is we're going to hand fit our bearing shells to it. That's all I can do. So we know it's going to be high in the middle. How much work it's going to be to scrape in, I don't know. It will save the next bloke that owns it a lot of money in oil if we can get it a nice a nice fit. There you see it's on the middle again. So we go back, scrape some more. So I think it's going to be better if I do it the other way round. I'm going to leave the blue on the crank, and then I can just scrape it off the bearing each time. I think that's the way to go. Nice thick layer of blue to start. Yeah, it's giving us a much better idea of what's going on now. As you can see, like we said, with a hump in the middle of the bearing, we're just running on this middle section at the minute, so we're going to scrape all this. All this has got to be scraped out. This is going to be really hard to film and do at the same time, but all we're doing is we've got this old file. We put an edge on, and we just got it clamped down. We're just scraping in that bearing, taking material out the middle, dropping that down, so we've got a bit of clearance. We know from when we measured it and made this, we need to take around 0.2 mil out of here. So we're just steadily like I say, just scrape that out. And once you've done that, you try it again. There you go, it's already starting to pick up the pattern of the wear on the crank. So we should continue on. Can't forget to do the sides as well. Right, so after many trips up and down the ladder and a few hours scraping, I've got these individually blued up now where I like them and got them fitting on their own. So now is going to be the test to put them together as a pair, because that's how they're going to run. Put them together as a pair and see what sort of fit we've got. Obviously, if we hadn't done this, I scraped it in, all you would have done is it would have run lovely for a little while, a few miles, and then it would have worn that hump into the bearing, and then it would have been sloppy. So we should be very close. So we should be a lot closer doing it this way. There's a fair amount of blue, but right, so this is going to be the moment of truth. See how they're fitting on there nice now? But the time will tell. They run together. Don't want to clamp that up too hard because you just squeeze the halves up together, but feels like we've got a little bit more to do, which is good, but there's no play or wiggle in that. So now we've just got to scrape a little bit of clearance into it. That might have been a bit too heavy on the blue, but there you can see the contact pattern. Just a bit shy this side. This was our low edge. Right in this side of the crank, the connecting rod must have been, the cylinder was, so the cylinder was cocked over this way, which meant it was wearing this side of the crank more than this side. So that's why you've got your low depression that side. It was high in the middle, and it's a little bit low each side. So that's that one. There's that one, same story, low this side where the crank's worn away uneven. So what we'd do is we'd go in, take that center section out, put a little bit more clearance in, and then it should run lovely. I'm going to take a bit of this blue off and just do it with a little bit less blue a minute. I think that's giving us a bit of a exaggerated. And what you can also do if that was too sloppy, is you can take a file these two edges and bring the bearings together so that you've got some more material to scrape out the middle. And the only time you've got to stop is when you run out of bronze on the backside. When you run out of meat. It's bloody hot today. I should be sat on a beach somewhere, not sat in a shed scraping bearings. Bit of a heat wave going on at the minute in the UK. Hot for the UK. So let's have another go. Very close. another way you could do this. Probably could do it with a bit of a easy lapping compound. Just run the crank over and hold this bearing. We might even do that once we've scraped it, depending on how it's feeling. That's giving us a bit better of an idea. Looks like this one wants the main bit out. So again, all I'm doing, you better see, are you? So again, all I'm doing is clamping this to the bench. I've been finding I'm using this little scraper. This is a much nicer job than that one I was using. And all we've got to do is remove the blue. Each little stroke of this scraper is taking a small amount of bronze off each time. Now we got it running, all we're doing at this point is just putting a bit of clearance in the bearing. I do believe when these bronzes is designed in the application, the bronze never should touch the crank. It should always be running on a film of oil. Obviously that's not always the case, hence why the bronze is softer than the crank, so that when they do touch you take bronze off and not material off the crank. The bronze is a lot easier to replace or touch up than the crankshaft. Like I said earlier, we couldn't find a company to actually grind the crank for us. We did want it ground, but we give up on that search. I took it to a place, and they reckon they could do it. Had it for a couple of months, and then said that it was too big for them, so we're going down this route. I reckon a couple more, or even these two might do it. I know this isn't very riveting content, boring to watch just as it is boring to do it, but it's all part of the job. If you know a quicker and easier way to do it, leave it in the comments, because I'm all ears. Right, we can try that one now. Just got to check the radiuses as well. I don't think we're binding on them at the minute. Right, let's go try that. Here's our blue in. I'm going to concentrate on that one. This one is looking pretty good. May need a little bit more. I'm going to concentrate on this one for now. Right, right, so that's looking pretty good. I'm cooling it there for a minute. We're going to put some oil on and see how she feels. I'm going to want to run this in with a bit of easy lap or what have you. So I think we've got a pretty good contact patch now after all that scraping. That's probably half a day's work. I think it's going to be worth it in the long run. Oh, actually, I might go for one more pass. Still just a little tight somewhere. Anyway, you get the idea. I'm gonna fuss with this. So you get the idea. I'm gonna fuss with this and get this running how I want it running. So yeah, so I'm gonna use Easy Lap from here on out. There's no play whatsoever in that bearing. So we'll just get that lapped in. If I still think it's too tight, we can just put a minute shim in. But I think once that's lapped in, that's gonna be really nice. Either way, I think I'm done with scraping. As you can see, that bearing's getting a nice coating of oil all the way along. So that'll wear in nice. So I've just took them in the shed and I've just radiused all the corners, just took all the sharp edges off of them, and now they are pretty much done. The last thing we must do to them is we need a way to get oil inside these. So if you have a look at the originals, you got your hole and the oil grooves. So we're going to want to put that in. I think the easiest way to do that is going to be to put them in the back in the strap where they're going to live, and then just drill straight down through the oil hole here. Can't go wrong there. So I'll just get a hand drill straight down through the tube and drill our hole. Down in here, you've got your oil passage. This is where the wick lives, so we can just drill straight down through that. And then we know that our bearing's going to be getting oil. And that split line of that bearing almost lines perfectly up with that pipe. Right, so I'll get a drill. Just gonna countersink it with this countersink. Just make sure there's a nice little pocket for the oil to sit in. Nah, but that ain't gonna work. Not with that clamp anyway. Whatever, that countersink one's much good. Try this one. Right. Happy with that. And the very last step is going to be putting the oil grooves in. Go for a die grinder, I think. So that's basically what I'm going to do, just put some oil grooves in, but I'll have to move the camera so I can steady myself. They'll still be wobbly, but there'll be less. Right, and there it is, all back on the engine. It's got a little bit of a tight spot in it, but I'm going to leave that last bit up. So I've ordered a bit of time saving or time saver, which is basically a lapping compound that you dribble down in with the oil, and I'm going to use that for the last final fit and get it running nice. But there's no major play. There's a little bit you see on the faces, but that's going to run in as intended. So pretty happy with that. Right, so I'm leaving that on the engine for now. Next job's going to be getting that connecting rod straightened out and getting that back on the engine. So we are making progress. That's another piece, another big piece of the puzzle. Almost 99% done. So I'm going to end it here. There's going to be plenty more for us to be getting on with. So we crack on again next week. Thanks. So cheers, see you on the next one.